Hi, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well. I thought I'd touch in briefly just to give everyone an update on our plans for amplification training. We originally planned on rolling this out in March or April of this year, but due to some of the challenges that we've encountered with COVID-19, we've decided to hit the pause button briefly and instead share a series of videos produced by your colleagues that celebrate some of the amplification successes. Never lose a client.
お客様を逃がすな。
Inakunda verloren nie.
Ne jamais perdre un client.
Never lose a client. It's a really high bar. It means we need to adapt to doing business in different regions of the world. It may mean that you need to adapt to the individual needs of clients. But never losing a client is a concept that allows us to grow our business through the addition of clients rather than needing to replace a client. When I talk to clients, I hear that they appreciate the accessibility of our staff. They appreciate our investment in the partnership, and by that I mean our willingness to share our knowledge, our responsiveness, and quite frankly, our willingness to make it right if it's needed. And they appreciate our investment in advancing the science. Amplification is a focus on communication, and in this video series, I think you'll see tailoring that communication to the situation really benefits the relationship. It creates trust. Trust builds loyalty beyond reason, and loyalty beyond reason helps us to never lose a client.
My name's Tracey Goodband, and I'm the Senior Manager for the Aquatic Ecotoxicology Group here in the UK. I inherited 2 packages of work from Sumitomo Agro in Europe. They were base set studies, so looking at algae, acute daphnia and acute fish on 2 different compounds. The SD who was looking after them left the company, so the studies were still ongoing, so we had to replace the study director, and they came to me. One of the base sets was up and running and getting close to finalization. The other one hadn't really started. So I sent an email to the sponsor to introduce myself and let them know that I would be taking over the study directorship for these studies. And I got an email back saying they weren't particularly happy with how things had progressed previously with the first study director. Which of course, as soon as I saw it, I thought, there's no point in me sending an email back saying, I'm really sorry, pick up the phone. So I picked up the phone and spoke to them. And yes, obviously I apologized a lot and said, I appreciate that you're not happy. But please let me know how you want these communicated to you, what you're expecting from me, and then I can make sure that from then onwards we can work to that. We've developed quite a good relationship. Quite often it's either emails, we quite often pick up the phone and speak to each other. Those studies are now pretty much all finished, bar 1, which is with them for review. But on the back of that, they came to me and asked if I was prepared to run a pulse-dosed ELS, which is not a normal design. So this was going to be a very bespoke study. I even did a little video in the lab for them to show them what sort of thing we were looking at doing rather than trying to explain it. And also on the back of this as well, they came to us and asked us to run a FISTRA, which they'd initially put at a different CRO that didn't exactly go quite as planned. So they weren't very happy with it. Came to us and said, we really, really need it doing this year because they've got a hard deadline of, I think it's March or April next year, so they've got to get it done. It was really good that they'd come directly to us now for things that weren't just acute base set, simple, if you like, studies. They're now coming to us for bespoke studies and the endocrine as well.